So like, for instance, let's say you had a business owner who's like, yeah, I don't want to hire you just because you're a woman. Like, why isn't that their business?
Because I don't think that people should have the freedom to screw over other people.
You're not screwing them over. They're asking you for your resources. You're not asking them for theirs.
Oh my God. She's actually insane. Let me explain. Charlie's claim is that people shouldn't have the freedom to screw over other people. Sounds reasonable, right? No. What she's actually saying is that she's not okay with voluntary cooperation. Because in Andrew's example, a woman asks for a job and the employer refuses. Nothing was taken from her. The only thing that happened is that the woman's request was denied. So, Charlie's definition of harm must be refusing to benefit someone when you could. And that is a massively expansive definition of harm. If harm includes withholding cooperation, almost every decision can be called into question. Refusing to date someone, refusing to sell to someone, refusing to lend money, refusing to help someone. All of these are screwing someone over. And Charlie doesn't want you to do that. That would mean that by her own logic, she would be forcing someone into dating someone they aren't attracted to, buying something they don't want, giving money to someone they don't trust. This is the actual principle. People should not be allowed to refuse interactions that would benefit others. And that is batshit insane.
It should be up to the propriety of the owner. He has access to all the capital, and all of those managers and employees are asking him for his capital. He's not asking them for this.
The employees are the ones that are making that capital for him with his guidance.
Wait a second.
They are producing that capital.
No, they didn't risk any capital. They risked no capital, and so they don't get what he gets. That's the big problem you socialists always have. If you don't risk capital, you don't get to gain. Like, you don't get to be like, I happen to be working here when that guy risked all of his fucking money, and he made a bunch of it, and so now I get a portion of it. That's not how the world works.
This is one of the biggest problems with communists. They claim they're totally fine with people making money, just not too much money. They'll say something like, oh, we don't have a problem with someone making 150 or 200K. But that standard is completely arbitrary and totally inconsistent. Think about it. Imagine someone works a normal job for like 50 years. They start at 40K a year and get a 5% raise every year. They live modestly and save a huge portion of their income that entire time. By the end of their career, they've accumulated a large amount of capital purely through discipline and long-term effort. Most socialists would say that's okay. But now imagine the same person takes those savings and starts a business. That's his hard-earned money, and he's allowed to do what he wants with it, right? Well, in this case, he's risking his own money. Money he spent decades earning and saving to build something. He hires someone to do marketing for his product. The employee agrees to do the deal. The employee could have walked away at any time, but instead chooses to accept the job. That's called a voluntary exchange. Both parties want the deal. Both parties agree to the deal. Both parties benefit from the deal. Yes, of course, both parties would like to get a better deal if they could. That's literally every human interaction ever. Everyone wants the better side of a negotiation. That's just humans pursuing their interests. People should be allowed to control their body. They should be allowed to control their time and labor. And that's what capitalism argues for. Bodily autonomy. And that's what socialism argues against. Socialists want slavery.
No, of course, I'm not saying they make the same amount, but a fair wage for the same amount of work.
But that should be determined by the employer, what that fair wage is, not by the state. The state, by the way, the state can't even do it anyway. They don't have any understanding of markets at all. So the thing is like just saying, like, I'm trying to figure this out. A woman comes in, or even better, right? A Christian comes in and a Muslim, and I say, okay, well, I'll hire you because you're a Christian and not you because you're a Muslim. What's actually the immoral proposition here? Why is that actually wrong to do? I've never understood that argument. It's always seemed to me like it's fine. They're both asking me, the person, for something. Why can't I tell them to go fuck themselves? And I only want you because I prefer you and don't prefer you. And it is based on an immutable characteristic, and who cares? Fuck your immutable character. I don't like it. So get it out of here.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's actually the most beneficial legal system for society. That's why the US is superior to all other countries, because for a long time it tried to maximize capitalism.
And you think that the point of feminism, though, from your view also, is to expand freedom for people. That was what...
Yes.
Yeah.
Not to have the freedom to take
do the
other
things you
people's
don't like.
freedoms. No, to take other people's freedoms.
Well, you're not
from them.
taking anybody's freedom by not hiring them.
I think that you are creating an environment in which people's immutable qualities impact how much money they can actually make.
Yeah, but that's freedom. You know,
Freedom for who?
It's freedom for both
Freedom
parties.
freedom for employers, but not for workers.
They're free too. Well, how are they not free? What are they not free to do? To tell you what you have to do with your money? To tell you what you have to do with your resources?
Once again, Charlie is using a really awkward definition of freedom. It's not the historical definition of freedom at all. Her definition basically turns freedom into the right to receive someone else's resources. But that's not what freedom has really ever meant. Historically, freedom has meant the ability to walk away from coercion. Freedom meant being free from assault, from fraud, threats, free from the government forcing you into arrangements that you don't want. That's the entire spirit of the Enlightenment and the American founding. The Pilgrims didn't cross the Atlantic because they wanted the freedom to demand other people's resources. They wanted the freedom to govern themselves and associate voluntarily. The American Revolution wasn't fought so colonists could force each other into economic arrangements they didn't like. It was fought because the British government was coercing them, taxing them, regulating them, and dictating the terms of their lives without their consent. Freedom historically meant the right to say no. No to the king. No to the state. No to people trying to control your property and your labor. But what Charlie is describing isn't freedom in that sense. She's basically saying that if an employer refuses to hire someone, then the worker's freedom is somehow violated. But that flips the whole concept, because now freedom doesn't mean the right to control your own resources. It means other people having a claim on them.
And you
You
lick sniz.
Under your religion.
You lick sniz.
What does that
You're
mean?
a fucking dyke. Don't talk shit about my wife, you stupid bitch. Shut your fucking mouth. Shut your stupid bitch mouth.